sorry, I forgot I hit the button. Welcome back. Anyway, this video is going to be much quicker than the last one because I'm basically going to focus on the difference between a token that represents one journal as opposed to a journal, or a token that represents one journal, a journal that represents one token, as opposed to a journal that represents many tokens. So, as I did in the last video, uh, we set this guy up. I actually just did this, and I did an attack, and I forgot to add an attack bonus for him, so it was messing up the macros, and it took me a minute to figure it out. But I just wanted to have a cleaner video. I'm trying to do a short video here. So anyway, here's the difference. You need to click on your token. Now we already have this guy attached to the journal as an individual, one token, one journal, and that journal is just for one individual specific bad guy. If you want to make a generic mob, for example, where you can bring out a bunch, this is how you do that. Okay, we have my markers, or my not my markers, my bars. Rep bar right there in front of me. My bars represent in our game. The red bar is body development, that's hit points. Blue bar is power points, like magic points, and the black bar is something that's important in our game, negative to activity. So in order to make it a generic journal for generic tokens, what you need to do is you need to change this to none. All three of these need to be changed to none. There, none. All right, so you save that, all right? And if I didn't mention in previous video, whenever you make changes to a token, it is best, I believe, I have found it is best to remove the old token from the journal, and then you need to be clicked on the token that you're working on. So there he is. Select the token. By the way, if you're looking at this and you're saying, okay, this guy's facing that way, this guy's facing that way, one thing you can do in Roll20 is you can flip back and forth. Just the screen I'm actually using these guys on for this session later is they're facing that way. In fact, I haven't even really finished them. That's why I'm working on them now, and that's why I'm doing the videos now, because I thought while I'm working on it, I may as well try to do videos. So I spent more time on doing videos than actually working on the game, and I may pay for that later. But anyway, we save this, and now I'll show you how it works when it's individual. Later, I think I showed you in the last video, but I wanted, this is specifically on the tokens and how they work, whether it's an individual token or a generic token. So let's bring out a couple of these guys. All right, we'll just do 3 for now, and you can bring out 50, 100, whatever you want to. But every single one of these guys is going to look the same. Now, well, I'll just keep this in mind, okay? I'm going to subtract 45 hit points from this guy. You see it does nothing to their bars, because now it's a generic token for generic mook or mob. It won't affect their hit points. I give him a negative 25 to activity because he takes tendon damage. It won't show up in either of their bars. All right, now if I'm not mistaken, this is where I had a problem in the past with trying to use generic mobs. It's the whole negative to activity thing that's really important in our game. This guy's got is a negative to activity, right? So he attacks. I'm going to do a broadsword attack on Roanique, who is She's our 99.9%er, 99.99%er. If I didn't mention in the last video, she fell asleep in one session. Sorry, I don't want to eat sunflower seeds while I'm trying to do a video. But just kind of don't even worry about what's on the macros because I'm not getting into macros right now. But no magic bonus, normal position, normal status, not changing weapons. I'm going to pretend he's way over there. He's not moving. In this case, these guys would do a riding maneuver first to make sure they can do a successful attack, mounted attack, and whether or not it's going to add to their offensive bonus or subtract, because it could be good or bad depending on what they roll. We're just going to say her defensive bonus right now is 83. I think it's higher than that now because I think she did some shopping in Rivendell recently and got some nicer equipment. But she doesn't parry. Sometimes she should. And no other mods. They're not parrying. If you were going to parry, if you had parried an attack from Rowan-Eek, then this is where you put negative whatever you saved. But anyway, that's not important. What's important is make the attack. All right, and I want to show you. You can see. You can't see. That's part of the problem then, probably. It's not the negative to 20. The negative to activity is not showing up in the macro, and it's supposed to. It is supposed to. Interesting. And I thought in the past, when I did this before, I thought the negative to activity was affecting every bad guy. Let me just attack her with this guy once. It's very strange. At any rate, it doesn't work because this guy's got a negative activity and it's not coming up in the macro up here, and it's supposed to. I thought before that the negative was actually affecting all my bad guys. Now it's not affecting any. So that's why I have to have specific individual tokens for everybody. So like I showed you, you do anything to this guy, it's not going to affect either of these. All right. So that's how you do a generic mob. You want to have a whole bunch of orcs, but only want to make one journal. Because believe me, it's extra work to have separate journals for every bad guy. I've got a small army going, and I have and I'm going to actually do a video on how to very simply, with as little bit of work as possible, at least the smallest amount of work I've found to do this, how to create your own little army. That's for another video. All right, let me get rid of these guys. All right, and put him back to normal. I don't know for sure that he's at 50 hit points. It might be higher. But what we're going to do now is we have to go in here. If you want it to be an individual token for an individual journal, as I explained in the previous video, you want to say what each bar represents. In this case, body development, power points, and negative to activity. All right, so we changed the token. Now we need to go into the journal. Lead Marauder. Edit. I still don't have all the attributes filled out for this guy. I'm telling you, I'm going to pay for this later. But remove. Always remember that if you change something to a token, a lot of times you need to. Almost every time you should reattach your token. For example, just say, for example, you use a specific marker for a broken shoulder. Now, I keep track of everything in my combat tracker, all injuries and things, but it's helpful if you have a marker for certain things. Um, when I say marker, I mean like you click here, and there's various different things you can use to represent various different things. I use this for stun. I use this for half hit points. I use this normally if somebody, for some reason or other, say somebody drops a weapon and they can't. It takes 2 rounds to recover the weapon, then I'll go like that. I'll click on two, and like you just hover over it and you click two. Um, if someone's bleeding 3 hits per round, I hit three right over the red. Different things. Normally, if I have somebody that's unconscious, I'll hit that. This I usually use for dead. I mean, you just kind of figure out what you want to use different things for. We use the flag. If somebody's in an opportunity action, say you kind of pick and choose. But like there are certain things you could maybe somebody breaks a leg or something, and you want to have one of these things represent broken leg. Then if you want that to keep showing up on your other map screens, you kind of have to reattach that token with those markers on there. I don't always find that necessary because I use the combat tracker, and that's how I keep track of who's hurt. So anyway, I believe we reattached this guy. So here is the difference from an individual token representing an individual journal or vice versa, as opposed to the mooks. You remember with the generic mooks. You remember when I took 50 or 45 points from this guy, it didn't affect the other two. Watch their boo boo meters, their hit point meters. When I do that, see, they're all the exact same guy. They're all exactly the same. I give this guy a negative 25 to activity. They're all going to have the negative 25 to activity. Just so you kind of have an idea what I was trying to do earlier in the video. This guy, and this is why generic mooks don't work for me, because if this guy has 10 in damage and he's attacking row and it needs to show up in the macro, and it will this time. So no magic bonus, normal. He's not changing weapons, not moving, and we'll give her 83 again. Now you will see that negative 25 in this macro, or not in the macro. Well, in the yeah. Okay, so if you if you look down at the bottom of this black box here, you see in parentheses 33 plus 65 plus negative 25. That wasn't there before. That needs to be there in our system. It has to show up in the macro call. So part of the macro says, as you can see, some of the things it's going to ask you questions for. Some of the things are going to be automatic. It's going to say, the macro is going to say, whatever token I'm selected on, what is the negative to activity? What is the offensive bonus? Whatever else it asks for in any given macro call. But in this case, this guy's at a negative 25 to activity. It needs to show in the macro. When it's generic mooks and mobs, it's not showing up. I thought in the past the problem was that it showed up for all of them. I swear it did. But now it's not showing up at all. So it needs to show up. So that's why I create an army of individual bad guys. I'll kind of show you what I mean here. Let's see. Mooks. All right. Brotherhood of Serpents. Let's say Fort Randevere. All right. Actually, there were more bad guys than this in Fort Randevere. I had to take a bunch of guys from Camp Donatar, put them in Fort Randevere. But Dunman Ruffians, blue. All right. Complete. So here's a bunch of Dunman Ruffians. All right. Bring these guys out. You'll see how it has like a blue 1, blue 2. That's how I kind of distinguish between who's who and who's who. I never fixed these guys back up from the last time they were slaughtered. But anyway, I do have individual bad guys for almost everything. Wherever you see that it says complete, that means I have individual bad guys set up. Let's see. Initially, I was taking shortcuts and didn't quite put the time and effort in that I should have. I got a bunch of orcs somewhere too. I don't even know where they're at. I seriously, oh, probably in the Brotherhood somewhere, or not. I don't know where my orcs are at. Oh, Orc War Party. There you go. So you got, you know, each one of these is a separate group. Not so many of those guys, but you get down to the green orcs and you got more. And actually, I can have 11 bad guys of any given group because I have just the color circle, and then I can do 1 through 9, and then there's a 0 circle, so I can actually do. I'm going to get into that how I do this very simply. I'll get into that in a future video. Simply creating. Basically, you're going to do duplicating your specific journals, and then you just have to duplicate your tokens, give each token a different color and a different number, and then you attach each individual. Well, first you have to tell the you'll click on the token and you'll say which one you want it to represent. You have to have a separate journal for every single one. I'm going to get into that in another video though. I'm sorry, in a lot of these videos I kind of rambling on about certain things. I kind of want to tell you everything all at once, but I need to keep the video short. So if somebody's looking for something specific, I didn't do so good with this one. It's much longer than I wanted it to be. But remember, the big difference between a specific token and a generic token is right here. Specific token is going to have what you want these bars to represent. Generic token, you are going to put none in there. And remember, you must go into your journal and attach your edit and attach your token. So when you reattach a new token, or whenever I do, I might have mentioned this in the last video, I can't remember. So much for getting to sleep at 4. Oh, another way you can add your points back is just to go in here and do it too. Save. All right. I think I already reattached this, but this should pop back out now. See, they'll pop back out normal. So if I bring this guy out on a different map, he's right as rain. For example, let's see. Watch this, okay? Minus 45 and a negative 20 to 25 to activity. Okay, so this guy kind of got, just pretend. Well, actually, let me do it with Ronique. It'll be better. All right, plus 45, and let's just make this a 0. So he's back to normal, even though I'm not even 100% sure that that's where he's at. All right, so I already have Ronique, I think, on another map screen that we're going to be using here later. All right, I'm going to remember that she's up to 84. I want to, actually, I think that's her max anyway, right? Actually, she's supposed to level up before the session, so I have more work cut out for me. So right now, we will put her at half, all right? Let's just put her down to 40, all right? And because she's under half, I don't know 100% positive this is going to work unless I specifically reattach. I don't think this is going to work with this marker down here. I'm almost positive it won't, but the hit points is definitely going to show. All right, so watch what happens when I look on this map. Let's see. First of all, to give you an idea, this is a high resolution picture that I downloaded and I'm using for today's session. Sometimes I'll use generic maps depending on what we're doing. I mostly love to use something very scenic, very real in our games. And you can. I will do battles on maps like this. Uh, I love to do that. But sometimes I need to use a generic map. Uh, Sometimes it depends on how much time I have to actually put into finding what I'm looking. Sometimes I just can't find. I looked for this um, pretty long, and I had a couple pictures that I kind of liked for what I wanted to do today. But when I found this one, I was like, that is what I want. That's the one. So anyway, let's check Row and Eke out. I gotta zoom in now. They're all the way down in the corner. All right, let's see. Where is Row? All right, you see Row and Eke here? It's down to 40 hit points. But the little marker doesn't show up. If you want a marker to show up on other screens, like say for example, she breaks a shoulder and she's going to have a broken shoulder for like 35 days. So you want that to keep showing up to remind you. But I don't need that. Like I said, I have a combat tracker that I keep track of injuries on. So I don't need it to be staring me in the face all the time. I don't need to constantly be reattaching tokens. But if I wanted it to, I just have to reattach it with whatever new markers are on there, and then she wouldn't pop up on here with that marker. She would definitely show the hit points, but because I reattached that token that was already set on that map, um, this token is set on this map. They're both right now, they're identical, but if I reattach the token, all of a sudden this token is no longer attached to that journal. So sometimes that's how your tokens get whacked out. If I'm setting maps up in advance, in advance, you kind of don't want to get too far ahead of yourself in Roll20 because oftentimes suddenly for some reason or other somebody can't operate their token, and I can always tell them why, because I reattach a token somewhere along the line on another map, and this map has already been set up, so it just bring out a new row and eke. But she's not actually down to 40. um, this turned into a much longer video than I wanted it to be, but the important stuff is in the beginning of the video. So anybody that's really looking for the importance on how to separate or create an individual token with an individual journal as opposed to one journal for many mobs. That's the important thing is right here. These need to be no's, and your token needs to be reattached to the journal. So, but for me, it's much better if I have an individual journal for everyone, bad guy, good guy, and it's a lot of work, but there are shortcuts that actually aren't bad shortcuts. And thank you for joining me for the video. I know I went a little bit longer. I really wanted to do like a 5-minute video on that, but I kind of got a little carried away and added some extra stuff, but it's all good. So far, I haven't had a single dislike on a single video, so that makes me happy. I imagine somewhere along the line I'm going to get one, but so far so good. It's just who I am. I ramble sometimes, but you should see my Sunday group. I think I ramble. You ought to see them with memes. It's hard to corral them in sometimes. Good bunch though. That's these guys here. They'll be rolling in a few hours, and I'll be rolling off the pillow. Anyway, that's going to be it for videos today. So far, it's been working. I think I uploaded 4 videos tonight, or this will be the 4th. I'm not 100% sure, but if this keeps up, I plan on keeping pumping out the videos. I really do. And once again, I do apologize that it's taking me this long. I am going to try to do tutorial videos. I'm gonna just really try to get into a lot. I think right now part of my focus is to explain as much as Roll20, as much of Roll20 as I can, maybe, kind of. There's a lot. The whole macros and each different thing, I want to kind of get into some of this stuff over here. I mentioned in the one apology video, I call it, that I want to do videos on every aspect of what I do to set up, well, what I'm going to be doing to set up for the next campaign. Um, and they're going to be long videos. I'm not going to lie to you. They're going to be long. It's just going to be me a lot of times, just kind of rambling on while I'm working. Um, but I really hope that they will be helpful to people that want to watch what I'm doing, see how it goes. And some of those videos are going to have the players, Rowanique, Rosalind, Mark, who plays I got a bunch of them. I mean, we got Meadow here, we got Rory here, that's Beth and Nikki. We got Edig here, that's Reggie. Rend is here, that's Russ. We got Folan and Arden, that's Alex and Erky. Cram down here, that's Mark. Rowanique, that's our highest level character and our youngest player. You want to talk about somebody that seriously got into this game? She's 14 years old, and I tell you what, she's a fantastic role player. Wait a minute, that's not Arden up there. That's Gimmelcod. That's Ethan, who actually lives very close to me, by the way. And then here you have Erky. That's Arden. He's probably the furthest. He's in Finland. Anyway, you're gonna find this with me a lot. I kind of ramble, but yeah, Ronique's getting really good. Just wish I could get her to talk. Fantastic role player, but she types everything. She literally spends hours typing dialogues that she wants to use in the games, and a lot of times she can't. She can't use the dialogue, so because something doesn't happen that she thinks is going to happen. So anyway, thanks for your patience in my long videos. Wow, I have a hard time being short. So I hope it's all helpful. I try to keep it interesting as much as possible. If you're watching these videos, and I got to be doing something right, uh, and hopefully I'm entertaining you a little bit, and also educating anyone that needs help with this. And by no means am I the authority on Roll20 or Middle Earth role playing. I think I even tried to get other people to do this in in my place because I'm the wrong person. Uh, Technologically speaking, I'm an idiot, and how in the world I figured out some of this stuff? Some of it, I'm not. I'm not gonna lie. Some of it I couldn't have figured out without help. I definitely couldn't have, especially the macros. I had some help in the beginning by someone who's no longer with us. He was very helpful, and it's sad that he's no longer with us, but he was very instrumental in my initial education on macros, and I keep learning. So I'll try. I'll get into those in other videos. But I must sleep. I must. I've been going all night, and well, not all night since I got home from work a few hours ago. But I'm really excited that I'm recording because it's been months of frustration with the whole recording thing. And man, if this goes well, I'm going to record today's session, which I'm not real thrilled with because I'm terrible as a GM, in my opinion, and I do my best, but hopefully I can make it. I want to do a test run, see how it records. Cross my fingers, and we will be recording the future sessions, and hopefully I'll keep getting better as a game master. The players are fantastic. Um, Just wish I could get Ronique and Ruinique talking. Oh, I didn't even mention Rook. There's Rook down there. That's her wolf. All right, so thank you for joining me. I'll see you in the next video, which I'm definitely not doing tonight. I didn't even I didn't even get to play Skyrim tonight. So hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoy most of them, all of them, and we're almost up to 100 subscribers. I am super excited. I figure if I start putting out some more videos, maybe slowly the subscribers can go up. And my number one goal is to bring this game back into popularity. And I think you know, people are role playing out there. There's all kinds of games that were not around years ago, and well, I'm rambling. I get tired. I start rambling, so I'm going to stop the recording now, and I look for you. Look for me in the next video. I'm going to try to keep pumping them out now. All right, thank you. Have a good. Adios.